Were my high expectations met on the American Empress? Not really. Let me tell you about all the things I disliked, and then a few of the things that I really liked. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing by clicking on the subscribe button and the little bell so that you can be notified every time I post a video. I recently took a cruise on the American Empress Riverboat. This is one of 4 paddle wheel riverboats owned by American Queen Voyages. In 2019, I had taken a cruise on their largest paddle wheeler, the American Queen. It held 400 passengers, and our trip was on the lower Mississippi from Memphis to New Orleans. I loved it. I mean, I couldn't wait to repeat it. There was so much to see and do, and the ship was gorgeous, filled with antiques. It felt like we had gone back to a previous time. And the entertainment was superb in the main showroom. There were 3 entertainers who were just fabulous every night. There was dancing. There was the paddle wheel lounge where 2 musicians would play whatever we requested for dancing. So needless to say, my expectations were very high. The American Empress is a smaller ship. It's around 220 passengers, and it sails exclusively on the Snake and Columbia rivers between Spokane and Portland, Oregon. I looked out the window of the bus at the American Empress docked in Clarkston, Washington. And my first impression was, that boat looks dirty. I mean, it looked kind of gray. I later investigated and found out that the entire side was a plastic-coated fiberglass type of siding, shiny, that you could wipe off with a cloth. So they were never going to paint it. And I guess I'm so used to being on the big ships where the crew is constantly painting the ship white that I expected the American Empress to be bright white too. But it was never going to be because it was a certain color and that's the color it's going to stay. But my heart kind of sunk because right away I had this little disappointed feeling. After finding our cabin, I walked around the ship to find out where everything was located. I must say it didn't take very long because the ship is rather small. The thing that struck me was that there was no sitting area or lounge where you could go. There's a dining room, a casual eating venue, the showroom, the paddle wheel lounge, and that's it. The only place you could sit outside of your cabin was in a small area of the paddle wheel lounge that had a sofa and 2 easy chairs. And it was located in the area where there was a small library. Otherwise, if you wanted to leave your cabin, you would have to sit at a table in one of the dining venues or in one of the chairs in the showroom if it wasn't being used for something else. And I didn't like that because I ended up going back to our cabin when there was nothing to do. And since there's no chairs, easy chairs or sofa in there, I ended up sitting on the bed and then I would fall asleep. So I didn't like that at all. The dining room on the American Queen is a glorious 2-story affair. It just takes your breath away. So I was disappointed when I went into the dining room to find a rather low ceiling and really nothing special about it. They had some crystal chandeliers which kind of perked it up a bit, but it was very plain. I expected assigned seating in the main dining room as we had on the American Queen, but it was not assigned. It was open. And I found this to be very confusing because, well, let me give you an example. One night we walked in, and when the doors opened, everyone just kind of rushed in, and we're sitting down every which way. And so we picked a table and we sat down, and I think it was a table for 4 or 6. And the head waiter came up and said, "You can't sit there. There's a group of people that always sit here." And I said, "Well, that's fine. Well, just tell me where to sit. Just move me." And so he put us at a table for 2. But it was awkward, and I didn't understand their methodology at all. But it was just, mass entrance. So I didn't like that at all. I'm also used to a lot of activities on a ship. And we had one sea day, or river day, as they call it. And there was really hardly anything to do. They did play bingo in the morning. I'm not a bingo player, so I didn't participate. The Riverlorian gave 2 talks, and they played one game, the match game. Well, I did go to the showroom and participated in that, and my team won. Our prize was a Christmas tree ornament. I was perfectly happy with it. But there was one member of our team felt it was kind of a cheapo prize, and that on the big cruise ships you get, much better prizes. But, I had no problem with this. This cruise was actually our honeymoon. Now, whenever I cruise on one of the big ships, I never have a big occasion to celebrate. So I was very excited to put on my profile on the American Queen site that this was our honeymoon. I expected them to acknowledge it in some really nice way. It was never acknowledged. Nothing. I was really shocked. And now for my final and most important disappointment. I booked this particular cruise because when I was on the American Queen, in the lounge every night, there were 2 musicians who played dance music and would take requests. In fact, every time we walked into the lounge, they would say, "Oh, the dancers are here," and they would start playing some music for us. So it was just fabulous. And beside that, in the main room, they had several nights that were devoted to dancing. I know one night was rock and roll night, and in the afternoon, they taught everyone how to do the swing. So when the band played that night, everybody got up on the dance floor. Well, not everybody, but, a lot of people did, and they had a great time dancing. So the first night that the quartet played in the main lounge, nobody danced. Okay. The next night was rock and roll night, and I thought, oh, they'll dance tonight. Nobody got up, and we wanted to dance, but I knew that if we got up, we'd be part of the show. But eventually we got up, and we were part of the show, but we danced. And for the rest of the week, people came up to us in the hallways and elevators and said, "Oh, I loved watching you dance. I hope to see you dance some more." And we were thinking, yeah, so do we. I wish they'd play some dance music. I wish people would get up and dance. Then there was the Paddle Wheel Lounge. This is the place on the American Queen where all the dancing took place every night with the 2 live musicians. When we got there, we found there was one solo guitar player, and he played easy listening music that was impossible to dance to, and he did that every night. I was so disappointed. I can't, what can I say? I was expecting to dance on the cruise, and we danced twice. So I will never take a cruise on one of their 3 smaller ships. That is, the American Queen Voyages has 4 paddle wheel ships, and 3 of them are around 200. And apparently they're like this with the 200 passengers. There's not much to do. However, I have found out that the American Queen still has the same wonderful entertainment and the 2 musicians in their lounge at night who are taking requests. So without a doubt, I will book on the American Queen again. Now, to the things I loved about the American Empress. First of all, the food. It was delicious. I mean, some of the best cruise food I've ever had. But the very best thing was that they offered supposedly steak and lobster tails every night. And I thought, yeah, sure. But they really did. They carved prime rib off the bone and had a good-sized lobster tail. You could have as many as you wanted with melted butter every night, both in the main dining room and in the river grill. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. I think I ordered it at least 4 out of the 7 nights we were on that ship. The other thing I was impressed with was the staff in the river grill. They were absolutely amazing. Their friendliness was over the top. Every single one of them was friendly and trying to help us and make sure we were enjoying our food and getting us anything we wanted. It was wonderful. So we did eat in there quite a few nights because it was more convenient and you could eat at any time you wanted. And besides, the staff was so nice. I love the hop-on, hop-off buses. This gave us the freedom to decide when, where, and how long we stayed at each of the sites. They also offered premium tours, and we weren't going to sign up for them, but we did find that we had a large credit left over from when we had to cancel the cruise last year and reschedule it for this year. So we used some of that credit for some premium cruises, but the hop-on, hop-off is really a wonderful feature. These are some of the things I disliked about the American Empress cruise, but it doesn't mean that I won't ever cruise on American Queen Voyages. I definitely will go on the American Queen, the large 400 passenger ship, because it is magnificent. And I hope to do that next year. They have many itineraries to choose from beside the lower Mississippi, and I look forward to getting on that ship again. Have you taken a river cruise? What did you think about it? Please let me know in the comments below. I hope that this was helpful to you in selecting your next vacation. Thanks for watching and have a great day.